Hello, Star Wars fans! Hey, there's just 201 days until Christmas 2022. Oh, and boy, what a morning it's been. I'm so happy to be here with you all today. Well, a squirrel learned a very important lesson this morning. You're not supposed to climb on the power line. But you climb on the power line and bad things happen.
I see through the lies of the Santa. Squirrel, or was it a little man in a green outfit?
Well,
You decide.
That kind of speculation happens. But there's a barbecue squirrel out by the power line. I'm just saying.
Out there, they cook the roadkill. That's great.
So it was dark in here for a while. I was getting ready for the show this morning, getting the thumbnail. Our friend made the thumbnail for me, and I was getting it ready. I was getting ready to put the agenda for the show together, and poop, everything went off. So fortunately, we're able to get everything back together and be here today. So Jason, thank you for that. Thank you for being available. And hey, I've got a bunch of stuff to talk about here real quick before we get to the Star Wars stuff. First, I did put a poll in the chat for should we discuss spoilers today or not? Is this a spoiler free? Like Meg did her Kenobi preview, no spoilers. Good for Meg. It was great. So
we are like the day before, so if we have to hit spoilers on what's coming tonight.
Right. So if folks don't want spoilers for what's coming tonight, then we'll try to respect that. But again, a lot of folks right now, the poll is 50-50. 50-50. So we'll keep watching the poll and see how that goes here. But hey, I've got some changes coming to the channel, and I've been thinking about things to. Oh, Jason's audio is a little bit. That is better.
Too far from my mic, maybe.
Yeah, that is better. Much better. So the the chat, you guys are great. I've been thinking about how to maybe increase interaction with the audience, what we can do, and been watching other channels. Some of the stuff they do. Well, hey, one thing I saw is my friend Tim over at Boss Bounty. Mm-hmm. He has questions that are submitted every week, and then on the weekend he goes through the questions that are submitted. So Chris says the volume's still low for me.
Testing me. Well, my mic is peaking on my end when I'm talking that. So is it still low?
Hold on.
I hope not.
Yeah, I turned mine down a little bit, so maybe I would get mine lower, yours higher, and maybe they'll equal out, right?
Yeah, there's no way to mix, really, is there?
Yeah. So Tim has people submit questions, and then every week he reviews those. And I also watch the folks over at Star Wars Newsnet, and they ask questions all the time, and they answer them.
What's an exclusive like that?
No.
Oh, okay.
They take questions from their audience and they answer them on streams all the time as well. Or they don't live stream so much. But I was thinking the other one is John Campea. John Campea does the same thing. And I thought, well, how could I do this myself? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a space in Patreon. And this will be for Patreon. So, a lot of people, they'll submit super chats to get you to read them. If you join in Patreon and you submit your questions in there, it'll work just like a super chat. But, you save some money that way. So just, instead of submitting a super chat several times a month or never or whatever, if you join on Patreon and you submit your questions on the channel over there, then I will read them as if they were super chats.
Dear Santa, can you help me get back on the basketball team?
Right.
You have to answer it now.
Exactly. And Leia, we have several layers. We've got one tier that's just $1. So one US dollar, and then there are several tiers above that. The very most is just $10.
You can make it rain.
And all right.
Rain on Santa.
And there are giveaways and things for folks who are members at the higher levels. The $1 level gets you access, but it doesn't give you the giveaways. So there you go. So I'm going to start doing that. That's going to happen right away. The other thing is, I think we're going to update our Thursday streams with a Magic Maker. We normally do fan film review, and then Magic and I just kind of chatter about stuff. But what I'm going to do is we'll do the fan film review, and then we're going to open it for a community stream. So the first part will be fan film with a Magic Maker. Then I'll open it for our members to join us as part of the community stream to talk about the Kenobi show or whatever the last thing that came out, whatever that is. And you guys can join if you are a member. And that could be here on YouTube or in Patreon, whatever that case is. So that's what we're going to start doing. I think that'll increase the interactions there. And we're up to 62% on the spoilers.
Wow.
So here's the deal. Jason and we're going to talk about Kenobi, our preview for tonight, and it will include spoilers. It will include spoilers. So if you guys don't want spoilers for tonight's episode, look, I kind of wanted to get some of the stuff up front so that you guys could see all that. And if you want to support the channel, join on Patreon, and you can submit your questions, and you can join here on YouTube and join the community stream, whatever the case is. And if you don't want spoilers, get on out. Thanks for being here, but I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. I want to make sure that you guys are all good. All right. So with all that out of the way, all that up front. I've got some fun things too. So I was over and did a Nerds Live this morning, and he was doing his predictions. Josh does this silly thing about over under percentage of something. It's just odd, right? Like, and he has fun. It's a great amount of fun. But I was over there trolling a dude who was picking on Disney shills. I'm like, hey, it's a great day to be a Disney shill. I love being a Disney shill, and send me all the shill bucks. They still haven't found me at the North Pole, and I will take all the shill bucks they want to send. And yesterday you had a little a Disney shill kind of montage at the beginning of music video.
Yeah, it's on Apple Music right now. If anybody wants to hear the
brilliant
song. I started a new band. It's called Fandom, and that's DUMB instead of DOM. FANDUMB. And I'm gonna put all the stupid songs we make up for the show.
It's great. It's great. And so he was picking on me, and he was saying that, hey, this dude here, the Knights of Melvin's going to be coming for all the Disney shills. I said, well, I already made a cameo on one of Darth Melvin's Knights of Melvin. I made a cameo on one of his videos this week. Look right there. He's got me in there. I was like, this is awesome. I even commented like, hey, I made a cameo. This is fantastic, right?
Yeah.
And Melvin hearted it. So, hey, I just, I do love Rey, her character. I enjoy her story, the movies, all of it. So, hey, I'm a fan of the sequels, and you want to call me a shill? I'll take it. It's all fun.
Who's your favorite Ghostbuster? Rey. It's always Rey.
Yeah. So, hey, this was exciting. I was like, hey, I finally made it. My channel's big enough, and people have kind of picked up on the vibe, and even Melvin knows what a shill I am. So look at that. That's great. That's great news. I'm excited for it. And then my friend Josh over here said something about me the other day. Again, lots of fun. I clipped this because it's fun to share. He was saying, where is it here? He went to play this game, and when it came up, it says searching for opponent, and it says Santa. Right, Santa, right there. Oh, and he's like, "Oh, wait a second, is this Star Wars Santa? Oh no, is this Is this Star Wars Santa? Is this the guy that who's really angry at me for making my content, for doing my job? And I'm like, hey, dude, I'm not angry at you. You do your thing, man. As I was telling Jason right before we came on live stream, I don't get triggered over Mike Zero either, right? Mike Zero, he's doing his thing. He's working hard. He's putting out, 17 videos a day. Good for him.
Jeff Bridges is being recast as Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? That's a fact. I saw it on there. I think I saw that on there.
Whatever. You do you, man. You do you. And if you say something stupid and I say that it's stupid, well, okay, that's my opinion.
Maybe that's your job.
Yeah. Who am I? I'm just a nobody, right? I've got a tiny little channel here, 2,000 subscribers. He gets more viewers on a live stream than I have subscribers. So, hey, what's it matter what I think? So, hey, I'm not mad at Josh. I just, Josh is Josh. Hey, what?
It's just Joshin.
Mike Zero is just Mike Zero,
be whatever
right?
you want.
Doomcock is just Doomcock. You be you. I really don't. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm just having a good time talking about Star Wars with my friends. It's all good. It's all good.
Doomcock ever wakes up and he's like, "Honey, I don't feel like being Doomcock today." And she's like, "You gotta get on. You gotta get on the stream. It's your job." And he's like, "All right, I'm gonna Doomcock it up right now."
Hey, Star Cabal, he did a review on Kenobi breaking the timeline. If I review it, he's okay with that. See, even Star Cabal gets it, right? If I watch Star Cabal's video and I say, dude, I think you're off base. He's not gonna think I'm mad at him. He's just gonna know that my opinion is different than his. That's all. So, hey, I just want to clear that up. I'm not mad at Josh. Sometimes he puts out content and I'm like, man, what are you thinking? Or are you thinking? Or did you even read what you're talking about? But that's my opinion, right? It's
performatively dumb things is the best way you could put it.
There you go. Hey, there's my friend Quentin. The Quentin podcast is a fantastic podcast. Yes,
I love that guy.
He is a good guy. He really is. So, right. And thank you for the super chat, $5 super chat. Try to reach out to Josh on the podcast. I don't think he's liking the format. It's hard to get. I don't look. At one point, Josh and I were communicating all the time, and then not. So I don't know. I don't know. But enough about that. We've got to talk about Kenobi. There's lots of Kenobi news to talk about, and we said we're going to talk about spoilers. Now, this is makingstarwars.net. You guys, if you don't have the webpage bookmarked, you should. But
this right here, what you have up isn't current now because we know that there was a swap in the scene, so the order is not what I predicted.
Yes, and that's what I wanted to bring up. So there's this article that's got all 6 episodes spelled out, and we know that through the series, some things have been tweaked, and in fact, they're getting really. Quentin, $2 super chat. Sorry, Mike Zero's still around. I presume that he is.
Yeah, he's still around.
Yeah. The guy's been, he puts those videos out. Salty Texas Rangers here. Good to see you. But here we've got all 6 episodes. We know Chapter 3 changed a bit, and they took some of the info or some of the content you had here in 4. Again, you were kind of putting together outline as you understood it, and
I'm taking scenes that are filmed, and then I'm trying to put them in order and into episodes, and it's like where the cutoff point happens is sort of difficult.
Yeah,
I did pretty good on the first one, and if not in the second one.
Yeah,
those ones I was able to because I had the post credits on Vader in that thing, which acted as a stopgap. Like everything from before then is likely going here. So that was like really easy. but 3 and 4 most difficult.
Well,
And the most ambiguity, I which I've been clear about the whole time. Those are the ones with the least amount of like of stuff, because there's a lot of like Inquisitor base. Like most of it's on Nur.
oh, well, that's what else I wanted to bring up because, and just the end of 2 is where they started to kind of tweak things on you, because you had that in like a post credits kind of thing, but they actually bumped it up like a minute and a half or whatever.
Yeah, and they just didn't let the credits start. But like I said, it was filmed as a post credit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it worked the same way.
I'm backtracking, and all my information is trash. Sorry, guys. Back to the drawing board. Not
wrong, Jason. Wrong,
people.
So episode or chapter 3, you had the outline there, but you had this fight in here, the fight between Vader and Kenobi in episode 4, or chapter 4.
Yeah, coming from the Nur encounter.
And this same thing happened, right? It just happened in chapter 3 instead of chapter 4.
The order's off.
Exactly as you kind of had it spelled out here, right? So he gets burned mostly on his arm. We saw that, and Roken and Leia are somehow able to escape. Well, that happened a little bit differently too. And
that's why right here, somehow it's like that's me saying somehow it's like me going somehow they escape.
Yeah, you know that they're not.
I think it goes the other way now, where I think Roken's going to come in on the back end of 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the most sense I can make of it at this point. And then I don't know that Tala dies, but if you want my opinion, Tala dies.
Oh.
Yeah, my sources would not at that moment confirm her death to me. They wouldn't give it to me, and I was like, okay. But the fact that they wouldn't do it said, you know what I mean? Like that makes me think that she does. So I think what's going to happen is I think we're gonna have Leia on Nur be interrogated by Reva, and then there's somehow Tala uses her Imperial whatchamacallits to break Leia out. I am guessing that Tala dies in that effort. Ned B probably gets Leia out of there with the help of Roken.
So
and then Kenobi, I don't know if Kenobi's out. I don't know what to make of Kenobi in this one, with him being burned during this stuff.
Meg.
But there are other planets than Nur in this episode. There are you go other places. So Nur is the main setting though of it. The vast majority of this was in the volume.
Who is Roken?
Roken is O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Okay, and
I said it like a bunch of times, and I keep seeing people who've covered the story go like, he's Quinlan Vos, when they know he's not. Like I literally. Like I haven't got names. I haven't got any names wrong or anything like that. But you know.
So you know who's in the chat, don't you? Our friend Dominic's in the chat. So guaranteed that sometime during this live stream and probably during yours, Dominic's going to come and say, "Wait, O'Shea Jackson? He's playing Quinlan Vos, right?"
Yeah,
guaranteed. Yeah. Dominic.
Guaranteed.
Dominic is that guy. I love him.
And is Haja really in the Ned B suit?
Right? No, it's got to be it's got to not Palpatine. It's Plagueis. It's Plagueis.
Roken looks like his father, you know. I mean, O'Shea Jackson Jr. Like he's not. I wouldn't call him like a fat dude, but you know, he's a stocky dude. I don't think he could play Quinlan, even if he was working out. I think if he worked out and he got ripped, he would be like a broad-shouldered dude. I don't think he has the build for Quinlan.
Meg is doing Dominic's work for him. Um, actually, O'Shea
I'm not gonna
is
go up
Quinlan.
against Meg's sources. So
yeah.
she must be. I'm gonna write the retractions right now.
Ask Jason if O'Shea could be playing Quinlan Voss. I chose not to listen to the last 2 minutes of the stream. So good.
Sounds right, Meg. That sounds right.
Of course, Meg would say this too.
No.
Ned B is Mace in disguise. Because that's Meg right there.
And Miss Sunflower, I'm not fat shaming him. I'm saying like Quinlan Voss is like a very like he looks like that dude from Game of Thrones more than he looks like me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he's like it's a real like it's a different physique entirely that they would use for an actor playing Quinlan Voss. Like when they do cast Quinlan Voss, we'll go back to this and see how dumb I sound because it'll be like some chubby dude. Like, after Order 66, I kind of stopped training. But
so this is funny. I went on Josh's Discord yesterday and we were talking about the load lifter droid Ned B, right?
yeah,
and
I went and got that reconfirmed for the 10th time.
They were speculating about who he really is. And in that chat, I said,
Iron Man. It's not Iron Man.
I said in that chat, I said, or the load lifter droid's just a load lifter droid, and somebody caught it and they said, "Oh, Santa, no crazy talk here. We'll have none of that crazy talk."
Whoa there! Sometimes a cigar's just a cigar. Not in this chat.
Slow down. So yeah, Ned B. Ned B. is Ned B. I don't think he's actually somebody else. He is.
I think it's Ned Beatty inside. That's what makes the most sense. They literally called him Ned Beatty.
Star Wars fits. This is great. A $5 or €5 super chat. Can you ask Grogu if he can get me back on the basketball team? And also, O'Shea is Quinlan Voss.
Ned $5? I'll go with anything.
Ned B is
hold up. Your $5. Oh no, it's wrong. That's totally wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, Dan Fisher. Ned B has a sub designation, Flanders. That's a good one. So
speaks Oakley, neighbor. You're like, whoa, it is him.
Yes, exactly. Hey, so there's a lot of speculation. At the end of the last episode, we saw Reva took Leia, right? Mm-hmm. And based on, again, this outline, we know Reva is going to interrogate Leia in this episode.
Yeah.
The question is,
and when she does, she uses Lola, like at one point as like, you know, I don't know, like I'm making this part up, like I'll smash her. Like she uses Lola to hold over Leia. And so like stuff like that was filmed for this episode. That I know for sure.
Excellent. And that will happen on Nur, you say?
Yeah.
Or at least we believe
Nur,
that.
I believe that happens on Nur, and then they and then from there, I think we may end up. It's either another planet or it's Jabeam this episode. But then the next episode, and I think the flashback should be in the 5th episode. I was always told it was in the 5th episode, and that was the only thing I was like, oh, does that happen earlier now? But I'm not expecting the flashback tonight.
Yeah, and that was the other part is Jabeam, right? So there was a lot of speculation. And again, I heard over at Dinner Nerds this morning as well that we're going to be going to Jabeam. There's going to be this big stuff at Jabeam. I think that's next episode from just on the outlines that you've released, you've given us, and where we see it headed. The Jabeam and the flashbacks, all of that is episode 5. So I think a good question, and I did hear it kind of speculated, is Kenobi maybe less in this episode than he's been before? Or
I don't want to go start that though, because then all of a sudden Josh will be like, Kenobi's been sidelined from his own show, and then all that shit. So I don't want to, I don't want to do that. But I mean, I think I'm kind of curious if Tala's gonna be on the mission to get Leia, and we just kind of have like Leia in the belly of the beast getting interrogated in this
Yeah.
one. And I'm curious to see how it all edits in together
Yeah,
and
that's
falls.
sort
To be
of
honest with you, because it's like when they're doing stuff like the Inquisitor base, it's exclusively in the volume. That's a little bit harder to like figure out because I got sources there. I also got sources on at the location, and when you have just one or the other, it's a little bit harder sometimes to get the full
yeah.
picture or the best picture for that
Oh,
matter.
sure.
You know,
And the deal here, if Leia and Riva are, she's interrogating Leia, then it's going to be a portion. Like I'm not sure how long that'll get drawn out, but it's liable to be a, a feature of the episode. Then we also have a deal, and it's in your leak here as well, that he's got to eventually he's going to be back to treated, right? And I think you had that in, where'd you have it, in 5?
yeah. Well, he gets he was like put onto like a gurney kind of thing. I didn't say back to. I was like it sound. I was trying to like I had a really poor description of how that was, and I was like, is it like the thing that they put Darth Vader in Revenge of the Sith to take him to Coruscant? And I showed them a picture, and they're like, oh yeah, kind of, So that's more of what I was going with, that kind of thing. I don't know what
Yeah.
to call it. I don't know what it's called. I tried to look it up. I couldn't. I tried to Wikipedia it real quick. Couldn't find anything about what that thing is. So
Right. So we did see, and I mentioned this in the kind of breakdown after episode 3, but Vader had Kenobi down in that flame, and he was dragging him through it and burning him pretty good.
mm-hmm.
Vader decided to put out that fire to quit burning him for reasons. We don't know all the reasons of Vader, what his motivation for
I
not
don't break canon, but I kill him now.
Well, there's that. There is that. But so he stopped burning Kenobi, not because somebody forced him to stop, but because he stopped. Right? Like there was no intervention that made him put the fire out. He just put it out. So following here, we know Kenobi's injured. I would assume in this episode we'll see him begin some sort of treatment.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my guess. And then the other question, and Arya brings it up, is about the Grand Inquisitor. We learned this last week through interviews and other things, and we got some backdoor confirmations, right, that the Grand Inquisitor is not dead.
He said backdoor confirmations. Makes gonna love that one.
I know. I was like, I shouldn't have said that. As soon as I said it, I was like, oh no, Meg's in the chat. But look, Grand Inquisitor. You and I talked about this before. I don't think you have any notes that indicate the Grand Inquisitor shows up again, even in the series.
No. So what happened was it was like Inquisitors do this, Inquisitors do that, and I assumed he was part of it. Just didn't really dig on that. So I went and dug on that and got it confirmed that he's not dead.
Yeah.
That he will be back this season.
Oh,
So I think what we're going to most likely have, based off of that confirmation, is that Riva's clock is ticking. The time for her to do what she needs to do is closing in. If she wants that promotion, if she want whatever her goals happen to be, she has to do it. Like it has to get going here now. Like,
yeah.
Because I just imagine Grand Inquisitor's like sitting up in the hospital bed and he's eating some pudding and he's like, what happened? Oh,
Well,
I'm gonna get her.
And
you
I think
know?
it was Meg that in her video this morning. And sometimes my memory kind of blurs things together, and I credit things where they shouldn't be. But I think of
But every
Meg
time you
was.
look at me, you see Meg's face. No,
Well,
okay.
I've never seen Meg's face, so sure. So, and yeah, Rupert Friend is on Jimmy Kimmel Live this Friday, so we are seeing that. And Miss Sunflower, me too. I want live action helicopter saber. I want it in a bad way. I just don't think we're going to get it. just because it's so annoying, right? Yeah, and I do want. I hope they do it, but I don't think they will. But anyway, Rupert Friend's doing his interviews. They mentioned in the interview with Deborah Chow that no, we're not breaking canon, and I think Meg quoted the Grand Inquisitor from Rebels saying there are things worse than death.
Mm-hmm.
And that perhaps it's one of the things that he has experienced, where he was,
He meant YouTube. Yeah.
Rick James, that's very funny. Meg's an AI that has no face. Rick, I hope you're joking, because there are some people that actually think that. That there are some idiots on YouTube that just think that she
Listen, I want to address those people right now. I totally did not program and create Meg in a lab. I didn't do that. I don't know why you keep saying that happened. Meg is not an AI that me and Santa both created to make the perfect Star Wars news recapper. We didn't do that, so stop saying that.
Right.
It's real.
She is real, and she is the perfect.
Man, that was close, dude. They came close.
They almost found it out. They did. Yeah. But hey, the Grand Inquisitor, might he show up tonight?
He might. I mean, we do have a lot of activity on Nur, and that was the other thing for I'm just like now I'm speculating here, but I'm like, what if Grand Inquisitor wakes up, and what if she takes Leia on her own?
Yeah.
What if Reba takes her to a Jabim? I don't think that's gonna happen, though, personally. But I am like, I'm like,
well,
like I said, there's the most ambiguity about how we get from A to Z in this episode.
Right.
Primarily.
Right. That's why this preview is probably the hardest for the entire series, because I don't think
it's the best time to pounce, bud.
Roland, thank you for the $5 super chat. The beard is looking full, Santa. Almost Gandalf look. Thank you for that.
That is majestic.
It is.
Are you a wizard?
So I whitened it this morning, and so it's a little brighter today than I normally put whitening shampoo on it once a week and just shampoo it with the whitening. If you do it too much, you get the blue effect. Because
I remember old ladies in my grandparents' retirement community who had the blue purple hair.
Yes.
I thought it was kind of Holdo before Holdo though.
Well, the whitening shampoo is actually purple. When you squeeze it out on your hand, it's purple, and you apply it, and then you wash it off, and it gives it a little bit of a bluish hue, and then once it dries, it turns more white. If you do it too often, it will kind of blue it. So I normally only once a week, but I mowed the lawn the other day. It was all dirty and gritty, and so anyway, thank you for that, Roland, and thank you so much for the super chat.
I'll start overdoing the Just for Men beer dye, black, and you'll be shiny white, and I'll be way black. We'll look ridiculous. It'll be great.
That would be great. So yeah, tonight becomes a little bit hard, only because I think you gave us this article, and we do see in here that Reva interrogates Princess Leia. For me, this is pretty much my takeaway for tonight.
Yeah.
I'm expecting this to happen. And then just based on the story, Kenobi's been injured. There's going to be something to do with addressing his injuries. And then, as you mentioned, they may visit multiple places. I am not expecting, because of the leaks for Chapter 5 being on Jabim, I'm not expecting them to spend a great deal of time on Jabim tonight,
Mhm.
or maybe they don't even get there tonight. I'm not sure. Or
I pretty much have reason to believe we will see other locations tonight, but that Jabin, the Inquisitor Palace or whatever it's called is the Nur is the like primary location or setting of the story. But I do think we may get a little bit of Roken tonight. I am I am let's put it this way, based off of how things have been shifted around when I look at the pieces I got, I go, I think Roken has to be tonight. But
excellent.
but we'll see. Because
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
said, like all of the stuff like I said, I had the scenes. I know what they were filming. I got the word on it, and I had to try to put it in an order. And it, like I said, I think it worked really well. Like on the first two, these middle two were the ones where it's like, oh, it's a bit more open, and the way that things were filmed because of like when you have like lightsaber fighting and the
Mhm.
big fire and stuff like that, that changes like sort of the order and how things fit. When they like on the final episode, for instance, they filmed like the lightsaber battle for like a month.
Oh my.
And so that one right there is a little bit easier because it's in the 6th episode. But if it hadn't been, it would have been almost impossible to try to figure out the order.
Well, that is super exciting. By the way, just
Mhm.
to stop, Miss Sunflower, do I bleach my beard? No, I do not. My beard is naturally white. This is its natural color. I use the bluing shampoo to kind of brighten it, but this is natural color all the way out. But yeah, so a month of shooting that fight. So we know the last fight wasn't all that, right?
Yeah, and that's one of the things too that it like for I think like it I don't want to overpromise on what they made because I mean I hope I'm in their corner. I hope that they made a great Star Wars fight in the end, you know. Um I heard good things while they were filming it. Everyone was like, "Dude, we're doing it. Like it's amazing." But I mean, you know, but that other fight, I think what people like, I released the stuff about him getting burned and stuff like that, hoping that it would sort of like set the tone for what the fight was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say I did not expect the lack of Kenobi saying anything. The like lack of dialogue when they finally do meet and people were like, you know, what did they say and stuff like that. Like I kind of got like the gist of it, you know. It's like, oh my god, what have they done to you? Which was, oh my god, what have you become? Essentially, it was like the
Right.
same, you know what I mean? And then but they don't say anything, and that's why it was so hard. It turns out to know
Yeah.
like what they finally said because they didn't
Yeah.
say anything to each other really.
Very
And
good.
then but the last fight I based off of what I have heard about dialogue and stuff like that in it, about what they like, what they were screaming on set and stuff, and the Padme thing and everything like that, I believe that Kenobi from Revenge of the Sith literally is back by the end here,
That
and
sounds
we're
very exciting.
yeah, and he's
Look,
going to be doing it like because like when you watch Revenge of the Sith, every time he says, you know, I don't believe in the lines of the Jedi, then he'll say something back to him. He
yeah,
always has like a retort, whether it's with the saber or with words. And in that one, he just doesn't. He's just like
yeah.
not that guy. So I believe we're gonna see Revenge of the Sith era Kenobi back. But at the same time, Nick Gillard's not doing the lightsaber work. So I feel like at this, you know, take from that what you will, because that's
Okay.
the guy who they should get back.
So temper your expectations a little bit. You can get hyped, but don't overblow it, or you could be too, you know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
might be let down. Again, it might be an awesome fight, but if your expectations are like Revenge of the Sith Mustafar battle, and it comes in below that, then you can be really let down. Versus saying, "Hey, we're going to get something that's better than anything you've seen since."
Yeah.
Maybe not better than or even equal to that, but better than anything you've seen since. That might be a better expectation.
My reasoned expectation is Revenge of the Sith with the Return of the Jedi duel.
Gotcha.
Taking those two things together, where there is a bit of drama to it.
Excellent.
There, and then but I'm not expecting, but I do know that they did like put Vader on some wires and stuff. Like they did have like Vader like doing flips and stuff.
Very good.
Yeah. So I'm guessing I try to remember back. I just remembered that right now, or recalled it right now, and I'm thinking that's in the final duel. So
there's another. So first of all, is Roken Saul's brother? Saul Guerrero.
I actually don't know anything about the like familial connections for him. I don't have a last name for Roken, so I don't have like Roken Guerrera. I just have that his name was like Roken.
Okay.
I don't know what his last name was. In fact, I could be wrong, but I don't even know. Then he might say it in the scene, but I don't even know like if the stuff that they were using had anything but his first name. So I really can't say.
So Vader tonight. Is he going to be in the episode, featured in the episode, show up in the episode?
So here is one of the things is that I am fairly certain we see Vader on Nur, based off of some things that I saw a while ago, in terms of like from pictures from the set back then, but here's what gets you, Santa. Here's what gets you. Is that they change those backgrounds all the time. So my working stuff for Vader being on Nur is based off of that. But for all I know, they went over to the computer and then changed it to Mustafar the next second, and then started filming Vader. So when I saw the Vader stuff, he was on Nur, and like even that seat is like his which is just me taking visual cues. That seat on there is like his castle, the two pillars of his castle on that like chair, but it also seems like it could be the Grand Inquisitor's chair too.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, I liked this comment here from Miss Sunflower. Even Kenobi and Maul's last duels is somewhat simple lightsaber choreography, right? And it's a very powerful battle. It's really short, but I thought it's a really good episode, and what happens in that episode is fantastic. So
it's Star Wars example of like them not having money to do a Revenge of the Sith duel and using their brains to come up with a dramatic concept that they could do at the price point. Like I think it really deserves credit for that.
So we know there's sort of two duels left, right? There's a flashback one where we are expecting
it's training, yeah.
Training, right. Mm-hmm. We're expecting to see Hayden and Ewan.
Oh, you will.
Yes. Boy. Super exciting. In Clone Wars era, presumably. Training. And so
I was always told it's 19-year-old Anakin. I believe it's in a room in the Jedi Temple.
Oh boy. All of that, again, is super exciting. Not expecting that tonight. I was expecting that next week, right?
I'm expecting it in episode 5.
Yeah. So tonight, maybe limited amount of Vader content, maybe some interrogation of Vader, maybe, but
I think we're going to see him because I think he's going to be pretty mad that he just got away. But I think the whole question is did he let Kenobi get away hoping it was going to bring more, like bring them like to Jabim, which we kind of know it sort of does.
Yeah.
And so it's like with that in mind, you end up with a story where would Darth Vader do that? Would he use Kenobi as bait? Was that like really the plan? But those moments in that episode are so open right now. Like when Vader's just watching him, puts the fire out and then goes to approach him,
Arya, one thing I'll note here is red blaster bolts are not always Empire. You go back and you watch, red blaster bolts can come from the good guys too. That's somewhat confusing because you expect the green ones to be the good guys and the red ones to be the bad guys.
Does the Grand Inquisitor wake up and then starts going to have her arrested, and then does she take Leia from there?
Well, yeah. Why is she getting shot by red blaster shots? I don't think you can read into that saying that some people in the Empire are shooting at Reva. That's the danger, right? Because red blaster shots come from good guys a lot of times. So just
Well, yeah, and then the other thing is, for what it's worth, I mean, yeah, that may be that. It may be the bad guy shooting at her, but at the same time, also, like, I was talking about how, like, the partisans are using clone trooper blasters. What color are the clone trooper lasers?
I have to go back and look.
Yeah,
But
I
that's
don't
what I
remember
mean. I've seen it lots of times where the blaster bolts coming out of an X-wing or out of are sometimes red, and sometimes the green ones are coming out of TIE Fighter. Like it's not consistent like I want it to be, right? It's just not. So that's tonight. There was this question as well. We haven't seen the Purge Troopers yet, right?
No.
Yeah. So that could be tonight. Not sure.
I had the in my report. I'm not saying it's the first time you see them. The first time I could confirm them was I believed was landing on Jabeam.
Okay, so maybe next week. Maybe tonight, but maybe next week.
Yeah, it could be tonight. Like I said, I'm not exactly, like, I was like under the impression Jabeam was episode 5.
Yeah.
And so, but I do know that we're going to see some, I think there might be just some kind of like other interim world that we may stop at, for all I know. Like that's the thing with like all with these sets and stuff, and they're using like the same places. Sometimes they don't look like with Mando season 1. I was going back and forth. Which one's Tatooine and which one's the other place? Because they look the same when they're just the sets. The architecture is not different enough.
Yeah.
And so I'm not really, but Jabeam, the base is like a sinkhole. It's like Jabeam is more treated like from the sound of the production, like a sinkhole planet. Not saying what the matte painting is going to look like that they show for the ship landing or whatever.
Yeah.
But it did. But like everybody who's like, yeah, we're filming Jabeam. It's like a sinkhole. It's like a sinkhole planet. But for all I know, it's just a sinkhole on Jabeam.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And it's like an ex-Clone War or an old Clone Wars base, and that's where they've been taking care of everybody.
Yeah, so I want to speculate a little bit about the Vader bit from episode 3 and going on, because we talked about Vader being in tonight's. And I thought Star Wars Theory, in a lot of his retrospective videos he's done since the live watch, have been really pretty good. Him getting to wanting to torture Kenobi more. Like, it's too much to just kill him. Right, and again, take away the knowledge of him being in A New Hope, right? But it's too much to just kill him. It ends it too fast. He has suffered now for over 10 years, and Theory's really done a real good job of telling us all the pain and torment that Vader goes through on a daily basis. Wearing the suit is painful. His existence is painful, all of it. So he has suffered for 10 years, pain every single day, excruciating pain, and not only physical pain, but the emotional loss of Padme and the life that he had dreamt of having with her. All of that gone. You kill Kenobi in one shot, then where's your payback? Right? Like, I suffered way too long. He suffered for 2 seconds, and he's dead. So to drag him through the fire, to turn that off, allows him to then be suffering with the pain of those injuries. And then when that fire is lit, he doesn't go through it to get Kenobi. He's the fear of knowing that Vader knows he's alive. Vader knows that he's on his trail. The fear of losing things that you think you have is a motivator to allow him to go. But now I need to pursue to keep that fear going, and perhaps, torch him a couple more times between here and there. Just
my take was he wanted to be hit back. He wanted, and like when you get into a fight, somebody's punching you back. then you start to actually get angry, and it kind of makes you into a Hulkamaniac, and then you really get into it.
Yeah.
I kind of think that's sort of where they were. That was my reading, was that he wasn't getting what he wanted, and he was looking at him like he was a bit pathetic, and he was kind of like really, this is you, huh? But I also buy into the fact that Anakin's a conflicted. Luke confirms it in Return of the Jedi that he's still Anakin. That guy's still in there. So the Anakin part of Darth Vader is still like, I can't believe I'm seeing like my brother or my dad like this, essentially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be that part of him too. So like, but that's also like I think it's powerful, but also I think it's open to like critiques, because I really do think that in those moments, Deborah Chow should have maybe told us what the narrative had decided those moments are, and left it so open as to be non-committal. And as we've seen, that does not work, J.J. Abrams. You can't over time. Over time, it makes things worse. But I'm reserving harsh judgment on that until we see the final duel.
So this picture's been making its way out, and you see the guys in the suit there, and if you see the sign right behind them, it says Joshua Tree.
That means it's for Kenobi.
That means it's for Kenobi.
I believe it's called Joshua Tree because that planet, because Mapuzo looks like Joshua Tree. That's my guess now.
Okay. All right.
California.
Yeah. The lady in the middle is not in the show. She's not.
She's the 37th cousin. You never heard of her, but you will. Oh, you will tonight. Promise. I'm hearing things about the 37th cousin right now that's going to blow your mind.
Hilarious. Yeah, Mrs. Vader. Anyway, this is making its way around. People are getting excited about seeing, the guys that have been doing the work in the costume.
Yeah. Cool.
In this, and just don't be misled by this Joshua Tree thing over here, right?
Yeah.
This is Kenobi.
Yeah,
this is
Kenobi. That means it's for Kenobi. Also, right. Was a big scoop I had about the 3 to 4 people that were bringing Darth Vader back.
Yeah, and
I had both of these guys in it, along with, and then what's interesting is I got a story recently. So I'm still not sure. I don't know if like James Earl Jones entirely was AI, or if it's like a mixture of the two. But that team and this team are all being brought back together really soon to do Darth Vader again. I don't know what it's for. Let's
put a pin in that and come right back to it.
Okay.
Before we leave, just one more note is we do predictions. If you're new to this channel, you've not seen us before, and you were led here out of curiosity or anger, rage at the Disney shill. Right. The clickbaiter Disney shill. That's what I was called today. Is that my channel is a clickbait channel for Disney shills. I'm like, okay, I'm not very good at clickbait because but whatever.
You need to change it to Vader kills Ahsoka, and then Acolytes, and change Sith on the background here to woke. Acolytes woke.
Right.
And
I thank you, Star Cabal. I appreciate it. But hey, we do predictions, and in the description here, there's a link to the predictions form, and if for the predictions tonight, if you get as many questions correct or more than me, then you go on the Wall of Fame. And you see that below. Green Bear and Sheev the Wise made it on the Hall of Fame for this week. And if you can beat me for the entire season, there are 3 more episodes. If you can get more correct than me for the entire season, cumulative, then you will win some Star Wars Santa merch. You get to choose. Maybe you want a mug. I got a couple of mugs. I got some T-shirts. I've even got hats. Where's my hat? Oh, here it is. Oh, I've even got hats. So you can pick something, and I will gift it to you. So You got to win. But Ducky Momo is the only person on that for the Wall of Fame for this week. Ronnie, Ronnie, you made a big mistake, my friend. You submitted 2. You had 18 in the first one. Your second one, you had 14. You got to take the second. Where the first one 14 and the second 18, you would have got 18. But Ronnie. Oh no.
But can we take the second submission as like the one, is the second one the better one?
The second one, no. In Ronnie's case, the second one is the worst.
Okay, yeah. So I think, I mean, it would seem fair if somebody does that though. Second one is the one that you go with.
Yeah, you have to take the most recent.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Yeah, that's what me too. Like, you got to take the most recent. That's the only way you're gonna make it fair. So
trust your instincts next time, little Ronnie.
Go with your first answer.
I didn't mean to call you little Ronnie. You're big Ron. Big Ron. I'm sorry.
So hey, it's fun to play the game. Star Wars Meg plays. Jason plays, and you know whose name is not on the Wall of Fame?
Rob
Sketchcraft is not.
Rob. Yeah.
So you guys, it's a lot of fun. So look, I do want to talk about this other story that's kind of spun out of this, and you had a story on it as well about Vader showing up in something else. Mm-hmm. What could that something else be? And your good friend Bespin Bulletin.
But this is my scoop.
It is your scoop.
Where are we going to Bespin Bulletin? You're trying to josh me now?
No. No,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I love Beth. I'm just joking.
I know you do. I know. And some people say that you are one and the same.
Well, people think that because I programmed the Mega AI, and then I wrote the Bespin AI.
You let it slip again.
People probably think I'm Bespin, but no, it's so dumb. He has a podcast and he's Welsh. Right. And to me, he sounds like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like when I'm playing Fortnite with him.
Right.
I'm playing with Obi-Wan Kenobi right now. He's like, I have an accent to you. I'm like, yeah, you do, man. You sound like Ewan McGregor.
Yeah. I could take the spoiler warning out now because we've moved on from Kenobi. You did have this scoop some time ago that, and you could see it in your articles that these guys are working. They're bringing the team, the assembled team that make up Vader. That assembled team is coming back for something else. Mm-hmm. And that picture that we saw of Joshua Tree is not that something else. No. The something else is something else. What is it?
I don't think they're bad. I don't think they're doing it yet. I think it's coming. I think like everybody's agreed to come back.
Jason, turn the AI back on. It's Meg is going quiet. You need to reboot the AI.
I tap her nose and then she goes, oh. And I forgot to tap the nose again. Sorry.
So they are reporting, Bespin is reporting Vader to appear in the Ahsoka series. So they're kind of putting their hat in that ring.
Yeah.
And it would make sense to me that if Vader is going to be in the Ahsoka series, it'd be for this. It'd be for this shot, right?
That was my guess 100%. As I was like, because you have this temple with Vader and Ahsoka fighting, and Ezra's in it, right? Yep. So that right there, it does two things right there. It tells the audience Ahsoka has a past with Darth Vader, and it tells the audience here's Ezra Bridger and what he was up to. It actually, so that very well could be like what the gist of it is.
There you go. And he does cite your according to a report by Making Star Wars right there. Yeah. That from at least two sources.
Why wouldn't I cite myself? No, I'm kidding.
No, it was funny. That was great. If the upcoming appearance is in the Ahsoka series, that begs the question: what's the context? And so I think this is the most likely context for that.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
Matt asked, could the broken mask of Vader you saw be for the Ahsoka series and not Kenobi? No, it was so long ago now that it was well before, before they had probably allocated production money to Ahsoka to start, you know what I mean, to start doing anything at all. So no,
yeah,
highly unlikely.
yeah. And Fitz, I do not think that we would see Kanan. Kanan wasn't part of this um, scene, and it would be, as Jason just said, to inform the audience that haven't watched Rebels, and like, what's this context? They probably don't even know who Ezra Bridger is, right? They've never seen him before. So it would make sense that if we see this, and Ezra is somehow involved in it, it would be to inform the audience of that story, to get them caught up to what's going on in the search for Ezra Bridger, that presumably the Ahsoka series will be about.
Yeah, because
So,
like as Star Wars fans, we need to remember, while we love Rebels, Disney XD was not a huge channel.
right,
Most people didn't even have Disney XD. Like
right.
it was a pain. I had to jump through hoops at times,
Well,
depending on where I lived, to be able to like see it, because it wasn't like on my cable provider. I had to get like friends to like give me logins and stuff. It was a whole thing.
well, and more than that, like for me, and people my age, we watched the first few episodes, said, yeah, this isn't for me, and I was out. Right? And I didn't come back to Rebels until the whole series had already aired, and it was on Disney Plus. Like,
And it's so much better when when you're able to like watch it like in like large chunks,
yeah,
as opposed to like a week by week where you're like every now and then there's been an episode where you're like, oh, that was a little bit mundane, but then like the next week there's something really important happens,
yeah,
and so it would kind of make it a kind of a roller coaster when it came out, where you're just like,
yeah.
but
And
it's so
I
much
take
better
that
now.
back. I did watch some of it on Disney XD, and I watched a bunch of it online before Disney Plus actually rolled out. I'd watched the entire season once, or the entire series once
Once,
before Disney Plus, and then after Disney Plus, it made it a lot easier. I could just watch all the way through
and
again.
it was in 4K, and it looks way
So much
nicer.
better, so much
It,
better.
looked
And
it looked all muddy on Disney XD on the app and stuff. I hated it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And the first season, Ezra Space Aladdin just didn't do it for me. Like, he made me mad. I just watching the show, I was like, no, this is stupid. I'm not going to watch this show. I don't like it. So it took me a long time to be convinced to watch it. So yeah, a lot of Star Wars fans, people who have watched the movies, who would call themselves fans, who buy merch, who wear the T-shirts, and they know the story. They are completely unfamiliar with Rebels. So, and to be honest, a lot of folks who have been brought on recently through, say, The Mandalorian and the Disney Plus series, they have no clue. So it would be brand new to them as well. So to inform it in the Ahsoka series makes total sense. That this scene would be in there makes total sense. And it might, and there's been a lot of speculation because of the Ezra Bridger casting, which, by the way, you also scooped. You can find it on
I don't know if I
MakingStarWars.net.
scooped it. I know that there's a guy named Yvonne in the armor, like in orange armor, and that's Ezra Bridger. I can't confirm that that's the guy though.
Yeah.
That's
So
and I tried to get more. I've tried to get more on it. I was hoping that when I pushed that out, that it was going to get me in confirmation, and it sounds like in the end it tightened it up.
oh, well, so perhaps this
For now.
guy's perhaps this guy's Ezra Bridger, but there's been some speculation because of it all.
But you're if whatever happens, I promise that orange armor will be the confirmation that I was not bullshitting anybody ever about this scoop.
Right.
Whichever way it goes.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because Ezra Bridger doesn't wear orange armor.
No, he wears it, but he does have an orange kind of.
Yeah. No, but that's what I'm saying. It still has like the character stuff, but it's like, yeah, his outfit like what I saw reminded me a little bit of the Star Killer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, he does wear an orangish kind of
color
color scheme.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, like when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's him.
Right.
You know?
But there's been some speculation because of the lack of information about him that perhaps season 1 of Ahsoka won't have very much Ezra in it, and maybe very little to no Thrawn in it. And that's why we've not heard too much on the casting of it, and why that seems like it's maybe shifting or just unclear, is because they're not in season 1 much,
Yeah.
and or hardly,
Well, I have to say, now that I know Ezra's in the season for sure, like now that I know that he's in it, it does seem likely that Thrawn would be in it. But
Well,
the
that's the
one
other
thing,
part you need to inform, right?
yeah,
So for audiences, it's like, okay, first of all, Ezra is this guy. Second of all, Thrawn is this guy, and Thrawn and Ezra have been taken away by the Purgle, right?
yeah.
And and folks, I've mentioned this before. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Jason, either. But if you've seen Netflix's, the Lost in Space
Mm-hmm. I saw
series,
a long time ago. Yeah.
well, they've got a brand new series. It's only been out the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. I watched the first season.
Yeah,
of Lost in
yeah.
Space, like 2 years ago, maybe.
the space whales are in that.
Mm-hmm.
The end of season 1, I think there are space whales in it. I was like, oh, Purgle. So
Organa loves those things. We learned.
first live action, yeah, he wanted to hunt them. But yeah, so the first live action space whales were actually in Netflix's Lost in Space. But in Star Wars canon, in Star Wars universe, we might actually get to see them in the Ahsoka series. Is again kind of the informational, like the setup, the what are we doing here kind of thing.
Right.
Why are we searching for Ezra? Why is he important? Who's this Thrawn guy? Again, I know who he is. I've read all the novels. I've been a Thrawn fan for decades, but a lot of people don't, and so that's important to note.
Yeah,
Right.
my fear is just always that, like, they just don't have that the writer is like super on with like all the characters, but then you have Thrawn that's supposed to be like this really intelligent, mastermindy kind of guy, and that it doesn't deliver on that it does a lot of telling instead of showing and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's my fear. I hope it's unfounded. I hope it's complete opposite when we get to it.
yeah, yeah. There's one other story, and it's this one here, Acolyte Sith. I heard you talking about it a little bit yesterday, but there's this video was sent to me that kind of talks about it, and it's this the Diz Insider.
I like these guys. These guys look like they're just chilling. Like,
Well, they are just chilling.
Yeah,
I have no clue.
These guys.
I don't know a thing about them.
Yeah.
They've got as many subscribers as I do. Their channel's about the same in size as mine. But these two guys, they're just sitting around chilling, talk about stuff, and they rip off a series of names that's got the internet ablaze. Okay. I'm like, well, who are these guys, and why would we believe them? But not that being the case, let's just play it a little bit here and talk about the list they give. So here, Revan. They're going to bring in these legends: Bane, Nihilus, Malik, Revan. So there, I just repeated them because I figured you guys couldn't hear. So that's those are the names, right? They bring up Revan, Malik, Nihilus, right? So who are these guys, and why should we believe them or not? And of course, if you're going to mention any Sith, you're obligated to mention, Palpatine's buddy, Plagueis.
I talked to a couple of people about them before I covered it yesterday, and it was generally like they've had scoops before, they've had Marvel casting before, but they're like, with Star Wars, there's not really a track record here. And to be honest with you, I know a lot of Marvel leakers and a lot of Marvel scoopers. because you could do one doesn't mean you can do the other. But the fact that it was casting in Marvel makes me think, well, maybe they're casting these parts and somehow they have wind of that. Maybe that's like what they know, and maybe
Yeah.
that's why they know it. And usually you could keep that on the down low. But if you were casting that many of people who needed to play these specific kinds of roles, you would be looking at a bunch of people who could potentially be all the things. So that's me trying to make the story work as a possibility, not being able to back it up because I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, the other part that kind of gives it a little bit of air is that Leslie Headland is a big EU junkie, right?
Yep.
Leslie Headland knows all the things. And as much as people want to be, down on her for reasons, she knows her Star Wars legends. She's deep into the lore. And they're saying, well, because of her knowledge of lore, her knowledge of the Star Wars, her fandom, just herself, she's a big Star Wars nerd herself, that she would certainly know these characters. And she's talked about maybe bringing some Legends characters back to life, so to speak. So that's what leads to the speculation. That's what leads people to be like, super excited about some of these iconic Legends Sith characters, right? Fitz. Plagueis is a great book, but it's not about Plagueis. There you go. That's my dive. I keep saying that. Anyway, so you covered this yesterday. I would have to assume that perhaps you could get Plagueis, a younger one. It's 100 years before he would be,
That's kind of where it starts to, like, we were theorizing yesterday. We're like, well, these are Sith from all different eras of Star Wars, right?
Right.
So, like, how do you make sense of that? Like, we were like, well, holocrons would be one way, and I'm like, yeah, that would be one way if you have this acolyte person who's finding it, but then it doesn't really explain Plagueis because he's, you wouldn't think would have them. So unless the story is it's like one of Plagueis's acolytes, or
who are those? Who are the statues on Exegol?
Oh, there's like Nihilus and Revan. I think are like
see, I could see them maybe being an Exegol, and that would tie everything together. And even if it is Plagueis, and who was Plagueis's master again? My brain.
It's
my brain's not doing brain things.
Abyss. I can't remember. Tenebrous.
Tenebrous. Yeah, Tenebrous.
Tenebrous.
Yeah.
It's a bris. Uh-oh.
Baymax is trolling you in the chat.
What's he saying to me? What's he saying?
Ask Jason to recall the name of the Kenobi production name, replacing tree with the word fraud. Oh my goodness. Sorry to break the news, but Plagueis died and turned into Tor Valum. Oh, I love it.
Arya loves Tor Valum every day. Tor Valum this, Tor Valum that.
Yeah. Hey.
Also, it helped me with my depression. It was the. It doesn't sound like it's antidepressant. Just choose one Tor Valum a day, and you have like a woman running in a park, and she's like different now.
That's hilarious. So I think we could end up with Tenebrous, and maybe a cameo of a young Palpatine, or not Palpatine, Plagueis. Plagueis again. Legends. What we know of him is a Mun, right? They're tall-headed banker clan kind of folks. You saw them in the prequels. So just to kind of put that in your brain, they looked really weird in the prequels, but so maybe they look better. But in any event,
so I learned last night on my show, or yesterday on my show, that I guess like there was like a broken Sith line, I guess, and then like Bane ends up getting stuff from like Revan holocrons, and that's kind of how it continues on, or something like that. That's what he was saying. Mm-hmm. I wasn't too familiar with that kind of stuff, but I was speculating yesterday, like, what if the Sith line is actually broken up until this point, And what if this is about getting the Sith to like come back?
Oh, I see.
Like you know what I mean? Like yeah, it was
Yeah.
broken at one point. They were both dead, and then 150 years before whatever it is, somebody does get the knowledge and actually like reignite, because the Sith, like people act like it's the dark side, and it's not. It's a
No, no.
specific religion.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, two people in the end, really strange.
Right.
But but it is what it is. But it's like, so I keep wondering if this story might be somewhat related to that, because if it was, then we may end up seeing where, like, you know, Darth Plagueis isn't his master and Darth Plagueis was dead before.
Yeah.
You know,
So Miss Sunflower, I was the same as you. I was like, I don't know too much about this Plagueis guy, but there's this book everybody keeps talking about. They say, oh, that Plagueis novel, that is one of the best novels ever. I'm like, oh, there you go. Perfect. I'm going to go read that. And I read it, and I still don't know much about Plagueis, because the Plagueis novel's not about him. It's about Palpatine. And there's some appearances of Plagueis throughout it, but he's a secondary character in it. It's like a side character in the novel who just shows up from time to time. He doesn't really do anything, and he's not really, you don't get much of his story. So I would say Plagueis' story is still largely untold. And that's where perhaps Acolyte, and Jason, I like kind of where you're going with this. Like the Sith have been, as a religion, that they're kind of been dormant. And it's coming back to life through, say, Tenebris or Plagueis as a very young moon, and starting to learn
much, I think through implication, have it confirmed, and from Production Weekly, that the story is of a young woman, and it's been, I can't remember the actor who was cast now.
Yeah,
but an actor was supposedly has been cast, and she's and it's gonna have like a lot of martial arts in it and stuff. So most likely, it sounds like, just taking what we don't know anything, but based off of what we know, is that it sounds like it's about a Terras Kasi person who is somehow getting pulled into the fold somehow, into the Sith stuff, maybe.
But I could see it. I could see it spinning off a Plagueis series, like maybe he gets introduced in it. Yeah, I don't think Acolyte is about Plagueis or Tenebris. Could they appear? Sure. And then perhaps from that we spin out and we get Plagueis' story. But at this point, we don't really have Plagueis' story. It doesn't exist.
Oh my God!
and Thomas Frost, yes, I would say Plagueis novel is a bait and switch. Oh, I said it. It is. Arya, who's doing Acolyte? That's Leslie Headland. And can we trust their work? I think so, because she is a big Legends junkie. She played the game back in the day. She's invented her own stories since she was a little girl, and she is still a big Star Wars nerd. All things.
Arya, if you have Netflix, check out Russian Doll. See, you know, it's a kind of a Twilight Zone-y kind of thing. So without giving anything away. And I would check that out and see if you enjoy it. It's like you can, but this show has a writer's room. Yeah. This isn't just like Leslie Headland sitting down and going, here's all my Star Wars ideas. Yeah. It's like there's an actual writer's room involved. There's an actual like team putting it together. But what I will say is, like, you would be a fool to call Deborah Chow a bad director in any of the work that she has ever done. But then when it came time to replicating Star Wars on television, there are moments that are open to critique about, like, how Darth Vader was shot. They showed him get up, like, and sitting down, like, it was not flattering. And I don't know why that was, but once again, that's fine when you're directing Breaking Bad, but there's just these other things that take into account that I thought were missing on there that I didn't think Deborah Chow would have overlooked. I was a little surprised, just to be honest with you, a little surprised by some of the stuff that she overlooked visually in those episodes. And maybe it was just like, you know, maybe something had to give, because it was like rushed, and there was, who knows. So, but what I'm trying to say is, you can never tell what somebody's going to do when it comes to making Star Wars based off of their last stuff either. You
Yeah.
just can't, unfortunately. It's so weird.
And Seth, yes, Leslie was Harvey Weinstein's former assistant, and people make a lot of hay off of that.
Who cares?
Because Harvey Weinstein's is a complete piece of trash.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not like was she going out and like, you know, picking up actors for him to come in her? You know what I mean? Like
no.
Like just because she worked there. Like just
Yeah.
because she needed to eat and have a job. I'm not trying to, I don't know if Seth is doing that, but I mean, not trying to put words in your mouth because it just says
No,
that.
I'm not. I'm not putting that in Seth's word either. I'm just saying a lot of people are making hay of it, and the people who are making hay out of it have their own agendas. I don't think it necessarily has anything to do with her. I'm going to judge her work off of her work and what I've heard.
I know
from
exactly
her.
what it is, though. I mean, the reality of it is that she's a gay woman. And then they see it all as perverted. So therefore, Weinstein was a pervert. She's a lesbian. Therefore, they molest kids. The kind of people who yell groomer at crowds of stuff, you know, that kind of jazz. So just throwing it out there. I don't think it's I don't think it's fair to her to pass that around. So
no, I don't either. And look, anyway, I'm just gonna leave it. Darren brought this in for Josh today, said he had a close trusted source say to him that it's possible the changed ending Kenobi's not actually happening and the original ending is still in play.
I mean, from what I heard, it's like literally just a couple of chops. So, you know, I mean, when you get down to it, you're cutting and moving a couple of things. It's not like that big of a deal, but I was, you know, the people that I heard this from, told me that was happening because of the fact that the story is going to continue now.
Well, that's the other interesting thing. So, could there be? Well, let me put the spoiler warning back up again. Let me do this before I say what's in my brain. For folks,
get out of here.
right. So we're going to go back to some Kenobi spoilers. So, the ending that you leaked involves Reva and Luke, and ultimately Reva's demise at the hand of
and this is
Vader.
Reva's ending when you really get down to it. Like
exactly, not the ending of the show. The show has more to it. I'm just
that's the thing that they went and ran with and massively distorted. Like Kenobi, there's still like, I mean, I'm gonna guess it sounds like another 15-20 minutes after Reva's exited the show where it's Kenobi and all this subtlety and you know doing rituals to like, you know, say goodbye to his friends and
Qui-Gon and seeing Qui-Gon's Force Ghost, right? The apparition, actually, the first time, that's going to be way cool, and it's going to be a big Kenobi ending. Let's not play into that whole nonsense. But as far as like Reva's end, she dies at the hand of Vader, and it moves on, right? So the change in that is Reva not being killed and continuing further.
And the other thing I would throw out there is let's just pretend it didn't change. Like with the Grand Inquisitor, with that piece of her screwing him over being I didn't know about that. What if he says, "Oh, good work," and then the Grand Inquisitor kills her, like on Vader's command? You know what I mean? Like that could have went that way too, because I never knew exactly how Darth Vader killed her.
Right.
I never knew if he cut her head off, if he choked her to death, if he stabbed her. I never knew what that was. I just knew, hey, we did this.
Right. A door opens, Grand Inquisitor's there, it kills her. I mean, who knows?
So I'm like I've always been upfront with what I know and what I don't know. But then when people start to retell the story, then it's like, well, you always said that. It's like,
right.
No, that's actually, go read what I wrote. I never said like one way or the other, just, you know, how Vader kills her.
Right.
I never knew that. I still don't know what that was.
Right. So, is just kind of throw this out there, and I know we're going long. We need to kind of wrap it up.
No, well, I have as long as you got. So it's up to you.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not.
Well,
I don't have. I'm doing a show tonight, so I'm not going to a show after this. So as long as you want to go, I'm good.
excellent. Wonderful. That's fantastic. So, yeah, because I'm thinking, oh, Jason's got to get ready. I've got to eat lunch. Okay, so look, the speculation is again based on the information that you kind of obtained is that her story's going to continue in, say, a second season of Kenobi. But is that necessarily true for a second season of Kenobi?
No, it's not. So I was told that basically, like, I met with a couple of people out in Burbank who would know. And when we were talking, they were like, yeah, what you reported, it's been changed. And I was like, really, when? And they're like, they didn't tell me. And then they said that there's a lot of talent involved in this series, and that they're not going to close doors. And so it sounds like they, like I said, remove, like for instance, when Reva goes to return to the Empire, if you just cut that whole thing, now you don't know what happens to her. It's left like wide open. Like, well, where'd she go?
Yeah,
where'd she go? And so I don't want to get like too. I don't want to overstate what the data I had means.
Yeah, that's where I sort of wanted to lean into some of the criticism of the ending as well. And I know one of the things that has Josh like super concerned is Josh says? I'm just saying, because I watch his show, right, and I follow him, and he has a lot of people who follow him as well, and they kind of get fed this information. So I just want to kind of address it to say, if Reva knows who Luke is, and Kenobi lets her go in some fashion, or she escapes, or whatever the case is, isn't that terrible? Like,
no, it's not, because the whole point of the series is hope and faith. And at the end of it, Obi-Wan, he's a guy who he messes up the third episode, because he does not have any faith in Haja helping them. And he looks at the dark side instead of the light side, that he leaves the point where they could have just got like people, when Darth Vader was dragging that chick by her face down the street, that wouldn't have happened if Kenobi had a better attitude. Basically. And so but he ends up getting that back, right? He ends up getting his old ideals back. And he believes that, tries to look at the good, and that people are not focused on the negative. And so, but with is Reva is it a security concern? Yeah, it is. But she also could have killed him. She could have murdered. She knows the secret. She didn't do the worst when she could have. Therefore, it's more than a calculated risk at that point. Also, can you imagine Obi-Wan Kenobi going up full Cassian and like cutting her throat? That's not Obi-Wan Kenobi. He wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but if he's tasked with supporting, protecting Luke, that's his number one, deal, is protecting Luke, and he lets her go. Isn't that opposite of protecting? Right? It adds risk. It adds, unless we learn that Reva is actually like a double agent kind of. She's in her position, and it's some speculation I've seen some of, that she isn't a true Inquisitor. Right? She's an Inquisitor. She's on the Inquisitorius, all that, but her motivation to become, say, the Grand Inquisitor herself is to get closer to Vader, to kill Vader. She may also want to kill Kenobi, but have a change of heart on that. But if she is truly on Kenobi's side, let's say, right? So and he's convinced of it somehow, right? Then if she knows she's not the risk anymore, then Bail Organa is at risk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, we sort of have
to.
to.
But that would be fun if that was the story. It's a bit conspiratorial in certain senses, based off of like what we know or what we think we know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like when it comes to the end with her and like what it means. What if, because people who are speculating haven't seen Jabim yet,
Right. Right.
and what if she ends up and joins the Underground Railroad, and what if she's helping save Jedi, and she used to be an Inquisitor and she knows all of their tactics. That data to them helps the survival rate go up significantly. But also, if she's part of that Underground Railroad, if Obi-Wan has a heart attack today, who's going to take care of Luke then? That Underground Railroad. So it's really like, it depends on really like
right
how the pieces all kind of shake out here.
That's
I guess
sort of
you could say Yoda, but for whatever reason we're not mentioning Yoda in the show too much because he's not in it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's just sort of my point, is like, we don't yet know her full motivations. We assume we know because she's an Inquisitor. Her job is to go kill Jedi. Her job is to find Force sensitives and bring them in. That's her job as an Inquisitor. And Luke being one of, and Leia as well, but Luke being one of the most important people to protect, then, or at least the most important for Kenobi to protect, then it adds that risk. And happy birthday, Dave Filoni. And also, happy birthday to Liam Neeson. Yes, both today. And Ducky's point here, if anyone who knows can be captured and tortured, it's a horrible, stupid risk. A lot of people are worried about that this reason.
See, actually, you are incorrect, Mr. Ducky Momo. Leia, who has minor Force sensitivities, and ends up being able to withstand the mind probe, and she cannot be interrogated in A New Hope due to her sheer willpower. And I think it would be a disservice to say that Reva does not also have that same willpower and that same ability. And I would even say she's tougher than Leia, considering the life that she's had to live, considering not being a princess and all that jazz. Yeah. So you could throw that out there, but no, I don't think you're going to get a mind probe with Kenobi. I don't think you're going to get a mind probe with a Reva. I think it's more like your average me and you kind of style people who would be the risk to like know.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to bring that discussion up, because of this. We don't yet fully know her motivations. I think as her story plays out within this, we will maybe learn that. And let's wait before we get all like super crazy about it, before and be like negative towards Reva, towards Kenobi as a whole, in letting Reva go. However that plays out, until we know what her motivation is, and if and truly what's in there. And I pointed this out, and somebody pointed out to me that her character poster shows Vader in her eye art, right?
Yeah, those don't mean anything.
And I've been trying to see if there's any kind of meaning in those.
I saw them all together laid out. There's really, it's completely aesthetics.
Yeah,
like when my opinion. I mean,
well, because I saw the same thing with Indira Varma, right? Indira's character, it shows Kenobi in that eye thing, but we know that she is in the Underground Railroad. So why would Kenobi's shadow be in her artwork? It should be Vader's, if that's what that means, right? So it's speculative at this point, but perhaps Reva does have an axe to grind against Vader, and she wants to kill him. Let's find out. Let's find out together.
No, I mean, when you get down to it, I mean, I think it's been pretty much my conclusion is that most likely Reva is the kid in the start of the episode. That's pretty much what I've always kind of gone
Yeah.
with, and that's I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be young Reva.
Yeah.
And so if you're a kid and somebody comes and massacres your whole family and then makes you join them, well, that was Darth Vader. And she knows it's Anakin. She knows it's the same person. She's aware that Lord Vader and that's the same thing and all that jazz, right? Is what we think anyways. And so, but also, it's going to be more telling, I think, after the interrogation of young Leia, because I know I just said Leia can't be interrogated when she's 10. This is one of the times that she starts to learn. I'm going to guess is the implication. She gets interrogated here, and then she's able to build up like I know how to resist this thing now. By the time she's 19, and but also Reva probably was mind probed as well to be able to figure everything out about her and her past and where she was and if she knows any other Jedis and stuff like that. Because we don't really know. We don't know like a lot of the backstory of Reva. We don't know how long she's been with them. In some ways, they make it kind of sound like it hasn't been that long. But then again, it's only been 10 years, so it's a really hard thing to guess.
It is. It is. And so that's and thank you, Sheev the Wise. And Sheev also, thank you for the personal note the other day. I just want to say that we've got some great friends here, and it was great for you to reach out to me the other day. I appreciate it. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to add before, if it's okay,
Yeah.
is that like in Star Wars, they'll also have this stuff where like Padme will be like, "Come with me, let's just go." Like let's stop this and leave. And then we're supposed to have Obi-Wan Kenobi saying, "Stop this, you can just go. You could just leave." If Kenobi doesn't let Reva go, none of that means anything. All of that has always been a lie. Whenever they say that, it means they're going to cut your head off because you're too dangerous or it's a secret or a secret. So it's like you have to go with a little bit of the melodrama here for those reasons, I think.
Star Cabal, that's not Deborah Chow. The Jedi Master who protected the younglings in Episode 1 was a shoot. I wanted to think she was a stunt double for another character.
Okay.
But it wasn't Deborah Chow.
It wasn't Chow.
No, it's somebody else.
I never heard that. Actually, it's the first time I'm hearing it. Was that like a thing that was going around? And
there was a thing about who it is. It's a really cool story. It's a super cool story about who it is. And I want to think maybe even it was. I don't want to misstate. There's a character who is in my head, but if I misstate it, then I'll be one of those that get in trouble. So yeah. So I'm just gonna leave it there. That's I'm not sure who. I can't remember who that is. Do we know what happened? Okay, there's a bunch of different questions here. I went sideways on what we were talking about.
Free watch to the 69th like, says Dale.
Yeah, we've had some great number of viewers here today. Let's just kind of wrap it up. I do want to eat some lunch, but
yeah.
You're having a pre show tonight, or are you going to do a live watch as well?
Yeah, the plan is I'm not going to do a live watch. I think I'm going to do like 1 hour before we'll get on. We'll just kind of like hang out, talk about it, stay up with everybody. And then when it comes to, and then when the show starts, we'll stop and then we'll come back and talk about it after.
Okay.
Sorry, Wolfpack. I didn't mean to be a buzzkill.
I know, Jason. There are times where my friend, I'm truly appreciative of all the great information. Sometimes I root against you, though. It's like, but I want Yoda in it. Don't tell me he's not in it.
I wanted Yoda in it too. I wanted Yoda.
Dang it!
I thought I had him too.
It's like,
I'm like, that looks like Frank Oz, man. He's driving you in his car. That's got to be him. Right?
I know. I was like, Jason, you make me sad. Couldn't you be wrong this time? Come on now.
No, and that's what I always say though. Like I don't think Quinlan Voss is in it, but I would love to be wrong. Like it would be awesome if Quinlan Voss walks out like tonight or tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like that would make me happy. So I root against myself sometimes too.
Well, there you go.
Or what I've heard, anyways.
Then Sheev, I believe Sheev the Wise normally does a live watch party. So he's here in the chat, so you can go catch him. And then tomorrow morning, about 8 a.m. Eastern, I should be on here doing my first watch. So if you want to see my live reactions and you've already seen it, come do the rewatch with me. Or maybe you've not seen it, come join us for a live watch with me, 8 a.m. Eastern for that. So Mike Porter, any advice on how to get back to the back to tank? Great. And just for those who weren't here at the very beginning of the stream, we've had a lot of people join us. I appreciate it. We're going to start Ask Santa Anything kind of thing on Patreon. So if you want to ask me a question, you want to know something about Brian Miller, I'll answer that for you. You want to know about something about being a professional Santa Claus, you can ask that. Or you want to know my opinion about a Star Wars topic, or maybe you've got a topic you'd like us to discuss. That's all going to be on our Patreon channel, and it'll save you guys from the super chats, right? You could just there you go. Ray and X-Wing watch party would be nice. There you go. So if you join us on Patreon, and it starts at just $1 a month, and then all the way up to $10 a month, and different kind of things at those. So you can ask those on Patreon, and we'll address them as if it were a super chat here on a live stream. We're going to start doing that, and we're changing up Thursdays.
Miller time.
Miller time.
No, you hear that a lot. I'm sorry.
No, I don't drink.
I growing up with that. Like, I'm tired of that joke.
That'd be funny. But yeah. And then we'll also change up Thursdays and have more community streams involved with the fan films. So we do have a Mike Porter dad joke, though, and it's a pretty good one. Why does Palps like to bake a giant cake? And you can even ask, why does Palps want to open a bakery? Because he likes to use unlimited flour. That's a really good one, Mike Porter. Thank you for that. Unlimited flour.
You just broke me, Mike. You just broke me.
That was really good. So now you know, like, it would be a really good name for a bakery, wouldn't it? Unlimited flour.
Unlimited flour.
Right? Because that's not copyrighted. You could.
You can do whatever you want with that. You better run out and copyright it right now.
There you go. Oh, yeah. Mike Porter, you better go copyright that and open a bakery called Unlimited Flour. It's perfect. It's perfect. Hey, thanks for hanging out. I've got work meetings coming up this afternoon. I've had a great time, Jason. This is great. I hope you watch the
show tonight or tomorrow morning when you watch it.
One of my favorite. I love getting to hang out with you. I love getting to hang out with Meg, and so appreciative of your time. And I can't wait to see how this all unfolds tonight. So hey, I updated the outro yesterday. We've got all of that ready. We're going to run with that, and so. We're going to sign off here, and Jason, I'm leaving. So
get out of here. You
don't hang out. Don't hang out afterwards. Just get on out of here.
You take that big old turkey leg and just take it.
She's already got another idea. Unlimited flour, a good dispensary, different kind of flour, right? OWER. There
we go.
There you go, Sheev. So thank you all for being here. And I hope you have a great afternoon, good evening. Enjoy episode 4 of Kenobi. All right. And until next time, you all, may the force be with you all.
Hi, everyone.
And, Merry Christmas, everybody. Bye-bye.
Hot dang! Talking through the news from a galaxy far away. Toys and book reviews, positivity all the way. Come and join the fun. Subscribe. driving like a way. Movie news and show reviews, it's like Christmas every day. Oh, Star Wars Santa, Star Wars Santa, the Star Wars Santa show. Oh, what fun it is to chat on the Star Wars Santa show. Oh, Star Wars Santa, Star Wars Santa, the Star Wars Santa show. Oh, what fun it is to chat on the Star Wars Santa show. Ho, 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 ho. Hot dang, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a treat tonight on the Star Wars Santa show.